Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Complete Game Podcast 71. What's going on, Z?
Not much. It's been a little bit. We got
It
some
has
stuff to
been,
catch up
yep,
on.
it's been too long. I'm traveling, I'm on the road, so I've got the hotel background, and uh, we're just on the heels of Aaron Judge having a night and the Yankees staying alive in a game that looked like Toronto was going to sweep them and beat the crap out of them early. Let's catch up on the playoffs.
Yep. I'll throw it around to the other series real quick before we get to that one. The Brewers have a commanding 2-0 series lead over Chicago after winning both their home games. And on the opposite side of that coin, the Phillies are getting dragged out to LA down 2-0 after two heartbreakers at home.
Yeah.
They had a late chance in game 2, sort of like the Tigers tonight, who are down 2-1 after some pretty spectacular performances. Seattle battling back after losing the first game to win the second one at home and split at home before going out to Detroit tonight and going up. I think it was 8-1 at one point, and they
Yeah.
ended up looking a lot closer than it was in the box score, 8-4. Cal Raleigh hit his first home run of the playoffs. And then, the series you were talking about, the most recent one that just ended, the Blue Jays hopped out to an early lead tonight, as they have in every game so far.
Vladimir
Uh,
Guerrero is ridiculous.
Off the back of Vladdy G Jr., who has homered in every game.
Hmm.
He's hitting .615. He's 8 for 13 with 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, and a 1908 OPS. And he is not the only guy on his team. Dalton Varsho's hitting .583. Ernie Clement, who went 4 for 4 tonight, is hitting .638. So they're just tearing the cover off the ball for the Blue Jays. Yeah, you mentioned it. Judge hits a ball about 700 feet into the New York skyline, and it dings off the foul pole. And
Yeah,
that started the rally.
Bieber started for the Blue Jays, and they used 7 pitchers tonight. And just insane.
And I think every one of them gave up a run.
Yeah. Actually, the last 2 didn't, but or no,
But you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, right. But and the Yankees won a 9-6 game on night. Rodon started and gave up 6 earned runs in 2 1/3. That's not a small thing. Evan
Yeah,
Williams
they
had
haven't had a starter last past the third inning, I believe,
right
yet. So they turned to Cam Schlittler, their wild card series MVP, probably tomorrow night.
now. I think makeup wise, he's got that calm demeanor in everything that I've seen and read. But it's a very different start tomorrow for him because tomorrow night he goes to the mound with expectations. And that's it's a very different thing to some guys, meaningless to others. I mean, never mattered to me because I had expectations of myself, but tomorrow night everybody's going to be hoping, and some may be expecting a repeat. And in a way, they're going to need a repeat. Honestly, I didn't think them or the Phillies had a chance, but tonight was not not just a big win, but the way they did it. They were down 6-1. Uh, they end up what 2, 5, 8, 8 unanswered runs after the Blue Jays scored 4 in the top of the third, 2 in the
The
third, 3 in the
7-6
fourth.
lead, the
Yeah,
7-6 lead they took on Jazz Chisholm's home run was the first lead of this series they've had. So just shows you, like, not, even that right there, just the momentum in that moment. Like, they have to feel so good after a
yeah,
game like tonight where they were getting their ass kicked again.
yeah, yep.
And those couple of guys, Vladdy Guerrero Jr. leading the way, have just owned them. So
Yeah.
what is that for them? Like, we talked a little bit about there's some scuttlebutt online about the Toronto Blue Jays at home, but I mean that
Yeah.
was sort of kind of disproven tonight. I mean they're just
Yeah.
tearing the shit off the ball,
Well,
and it doesn't matter in New York or Toronto.
it's hard because anytime in sports, generally, anytime you try to credit somebody, everybody wants to think you're discrediting somebody else, right? Is it the Blue Jays hitting or the being great, or is it the Yankee pitching sucking? And sometimes the answer is yes. And right now, it's what, 23-29-17. The Blue Jays have outscored the Yankees 29-17 in 3 games. The Yankees just haven't pitched. Listen, as they're I don't think either one of these teams is setting themselves up to be the eventual world champion, because I don't think either one of them's pitching well enough. And on that note, let's also mention the Detroit, Seattle's 2-1 up on Detroit, right? And they are 2-1 up on Detroit, and have one of those 2 wins was against Scooble. Splitting in Detroit, or splitting in Seattle,
Yeah.
uh, which was enormous, because they lost game 1, and now they're they're on their backs with Scooble going game 2, and they answered the bell, playing really good baseball. So yeah, I mean it's going to be interesting. I don't think we're going to see. I think I might have said Phillies Yankees World Series. I don't think either one of those teams is going to end up being there. I think, honestly, if the Yankees win, I think it will be because the Blue Jays stop hitting and they can't pitch. I
Yeah,
don't.
that would be my, if you're a Toronto Blue Jays fan, that would be my one worry right now, is that the bats go cold all of a sudden
Right,
and you can't get not a reliever in your bullpen can get through an inning without giving up
right,
one earned.
right. And like I said, I've said it over and over again, sabermetrics baseball is losing baseball in October, and you can't run 6, 7 relievers out there with any expectations of shutting a team down. It just doesn't work that way, because and I'll quickly explain in my mind, you know, back uh 10 years ago, you had, and I've said this, you go into I said this during the season. It was one of the reasons why I was looking at playoff teams. When you go into the postseason, you go into the postseason with a small pitching staff. You've got 3 to 4 starters and 3 to 4 relievers. If you remember, in '04, Folke threw about 50 innings in the postseason. Timlin was throwing a lot and all the things, but you hand the ball to 3 or 4 guys, in the words of Aaron Boone, that you trust. They're using 5 to 7 relievers every night, which means instead of, and not everybody is built to pitch in October, and it's just the way it is. So I don't, I just don't think it's winning baseball, and I don't think you can win consistently in October with that kind of baseball and throwing that way. And like I said, both teams, what was it, 13 pitchers tonight in the game, 7 for Toronto, 6 for New York, and what was, yeah, Seattle. Gilbert was a beast. They used 5, and there was 10 pitchers used in a Tigers game. Flaherty got bombed early, but and Logan Gilbert went 6, gave up a run on 7 punch outs with no walks, 85 pitches. I kind of wonder. Oh, I guess with the 8-1 lead, you know, I've seen guys come out early and he only threw 85 pitches, so maybe you're thinking, hey, maybe I can bring you back on 3 days rest instead of you having to need 4 days rest because you threw it. And those are 85 semi non-taxing pitches, because it's an 8-1 ball. You got a big lead. He came out of the game and it was what, 6-1, 5-1? Yeah, 5-1. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a feeling right now. For except for the Dodgers. I mean, the Blue Jays until tonight, I was thinking they were on a roll, but and that's the thing about postseason. There is really, honestly, there isn't momentum. Um, it's day to day. Momentum is in postseason. Momentum is your starting pitcher, and all that. It looked like Toronto was tearing up New York, including coming into the early game tonight, and then all of a sudden the script gets flipped. So, but I don't have a feel right now. It's really weird. I don't see, other than Vladdy. I mean, is there somebody who you just can't believe what kind of October they're already off to? Maybe a couple of
Uh,
guys.
as as an individual, I mean,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
some
yeah.
guys,
Because
there's
every
some guys,
offseason there's a story, right?
yeah, there's some guys on the Dodgers that are playing phenomenal.
Right.
Jackson Churio for the Brewers is also playing pretty
Yep.
phenomenally,
Yep.
with an injury, I might add.
Yeah.
And I'll also use that opportunity to transition over to that game, since you were talking about a struggling bullpen. We can talk about one that got it done yesterday.
Right.
The Brewers went with the bullpen start that you hate.
Yep.
And it looked to be like the thing that was going to burn them. They gave up a 3-run home run in the first inning. And then immediately, like if you've watched them all year, they come right back in the bottom of the inning and tie it with a 3-run shot of their own, and then
Yep.
from there just proceeded to kill every bit of momentum the Cubs had from there on out.
And when you look,
Mizorowski pitched great.
yep, they use 8 pitchers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 pitchers. But the big one was Mizorowski going 3 in the early middle of the game.
Did you see his putout?
I didn't know the last out
All
he
right,
got.
you'll have to see it.
Yeah, I heard
He's
he.
put out. He's a total dork. I mean,
Right.
Pokemon collecting dork from what I know about him, but it was so pure and genuine. He like jumps up in the air like he looks like Sheldon from the Big
Big
Bang
Bang
Theory.
Theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they dominated yesterday, and Jackson Churrio's batting .714. He had a 3-run shot that was also a big accident point, put the game away. So I
Well,
think the Brewers
and
are going to end that in Chicago.
Ashby went 1 2/3, and then it was Mears, Mizorowski, Patrick, Koenig, McGill, Uribe. God, I that just doesn't seem like it'd be fun to manage either. Having to make a trip to the mound every freaking inning. And want for the pitching injuries, we could have like legitimate matchups now. There's no Woodruff, and the Cubs. The Cubs are backs against the wall.
It'll be Quinn Priester tomorrow for the Brewers.
Right. Cubs got to find a way to
back
take.
to a starting pitcher.
Yeah. But that's the other thing is even when we're seeing starters not named Tariq Skubal, the leash is so short. Like they're letting it's almost like a guy gets in a runner in scoring position in third inning and the bullpen's up. Like they're like we can't give up a run, and I again I just don't think you can win 13 games in October with that approach, but we'll see.
You're a big fan, but for people behind the scenes don't know, my dad's a big fan of like the GM create a franchise mode style games. How fun does it have to be for the Brewers GM to watch Andrew Vaughn hit that 3-run home run, a guy he picked out of the White Sox organization, and it's just been on a tear since they got him.
Yep. No,
that's got to feel so good.
Yeah. Well, and those are the moves that end up being when you look back on 04, you look at Dave Roberts and Nikavich and Orlando Cabrera trades with the Roberts, being as big of a deal as anything. That GM, those are the moves that end up being the ones that those guys remember much more so than the fans, because they see the day-to-day stuff. And this guy's rescued out of obscurity in Chicago. Listen, he comes from the White Sox where he's hitting 189 with a 218 on base percentage, and what is it, 5 homers and 19 RBIs in 48 games. Then he plays 64 games in Chicago. He has 9 bombs, 46 RBIs, 308, 375. You hear a lot of people talk about, and you've heard me talk about, this guy just needs to change the scenery. Those are the kind of moves that spark a team, that change and turn around a career too. So good for him. I think it's interesting too, coming out of LA, that Sasaki, they can't throw him every night, but Roberts has basically said in the 9th inning, that's our guy. And that's on the which shows you how quickly. Well, it shows you how quickly you can win and lose favor, right? He got an out. I mean, great. It was a big out, last out again, but that's the outing that seals his 9th inning. But
think about how fucking brutal that's such a dick move for all those Philly fans who are just sitting there and they're just like, let it happen. Either let us win or fucking send me home. Like, right. And he comes in to change the pitcher and makes it 15 minutes longer. That's so brutal. But that series, I feel like I'm too close to have a real true feel for. Right. I think Seattle, the only way they lose now up 2-1 is if they beat themselves. I think Milwaukee closes it out, and then I think Toronto should close it out in Game 5, if not tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm coin flipping a game 5 if that happens, but I'm not sure. Well, I mean, Schitler's they're gonna win or go home, and you know, their bullpen. I think Cam he'll have a long leash for game 4, which is going to be a little bit different than what we've been seeing because there's no. I mean, well, and this is the other thing, right? You threw 6 guys tonight out of the bullpen. So, and one of the things that if fans don't know this, a lot of times now what's happening with sabermetrics is general managers will come down and tell managers who is available and who is not available that night. Because this guy doesn't do well back-to-back nights, so don't use him tonight. This guy doesn't, and that actually is in play. That happens behind the scenes. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think I'm having trouble seeing any of the guys leading not taking their series. I think it's going to be Seattle. I think it's going to be Toronto. I think it's going to be Milwaukee, and I think it's going to be LA.
I think quickly to talk about the Phillies and Dodgers series a little bit closer to it's a story of like stars showing up and not showing up for me, and
Right.
it sucks to say because I do root for the Phillies in this series especially, but coming from Boston and being a Boston fan and getting to watch Mookie Betts grow into the player he is, he's such a special talent.
Right.
And then Shohei Ohtani, everybody knows about. And then if you've watched baseball the last decade, you know about Kike Hernandez and his freak playoff appearances. And then Teoscar Hernandez is just joining him in being the clutch player that the Dodgers need. So it's everything that the Phillies are not getting out of their core right now. Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, and Bryce Harper are 2 for 21 combined. Schwarber doesn't even have a hit.
Yeah.
Just,
well,
it's crushing.
I told you, give me guys that strike out 100+ times in the regular season, and when a pitching staff can command the ball inside the strike zone, which is what the Yankees are not doing against Vlad, you can poke holes in all of it.
Oh, I
So
meant to grab it too, but the Aaron Judge foul ball home run tonight, I believe there were 200 and I forget the exact number, but ballpark, there were 250 something 99-mile-an-hour plus fastballs that were thrown outside of the strike zone that were hit into play this year. Of those 257, 0 were hit for home runs until tonight with Aaron Judge. And it was like up here, like nipple
you
high.
want to know the one guy in my career who I think put more like balls out of the strike zone into seats by a mile
is his kid on the other team?
Yeah. Vladdy did things with balls that were not people didn't even offer at him, and he would barrel them.
Yeah, he has that famous one of him hitting the one that bounced.
Yep, barreling it, by the way, not just hitting it, but like freaking barreling
on a hop.
Yep.
Better than some guys can field.
And it's opening night in the NHL, by the way.
Big night.
Colorado just went up 3-0.
I haven't even looked at hockey scores because I was watching that game.
Yep.
But October's absolutely been delivering. Like the Brewers and Cubs series, even though it's 2-0, the answering home runs and like I said, the Brewers like gangbusters mentality and ability to just like rally at all times is super fun to watch. There's not a boring team left in the playoffs.
Well, there's
right
a
now,
feel to it, right? It's just like when you're in a slump and you're saying, "Oh no, here we go again." That works in reverse too, and the Brewers are feeling it.
We have the Brewers and the Mariners now are 1 win away from going to the championship series. That's 2 of the teams that haven't won the World Series yet.
Right.
So that's really cool.
Well, I know Major League Baseball is not going to be a huge fan of that one. They're praying for Yankees Dodgers. But I think
again,
I think I'm pretty. I would like to see the Brewers Mariners simply because I want to see that. I want to see somebody get there first.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And for me, Milwaukee is going to end up being the little engine that could. I think early in the year everybody liked them. I don't know that anybody saw them coming in as a potential close to 1 seed and or somebody that was that good. And if they do it, they're good.
Speaking of NHL hockey, they have a chance to be the Florida Panthers, where they're fun this year and everyone kind of gets to root for them, and then they win a World Series, and then another year they're in the NLCS, and you're like, all right, this is getting kind of annoying now.
I'm tired. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm tired of it. Move on, guys. Yeah. All right. Friday, we'll be back on Friday, and we will have league championship.
We'll have some
series.
championship series.
Yep.
At least
hopefully.
some contenders for them.
Now it's Tuesday. Yeah. Okay. So all the series end on Thursday, right? By Thursday.
It looks that way right now, unless there's a game 5. Friday night.
Okay.
So unless the Cubs or Phillies force a game 5,
right,
we'll have all the games decided by the next time we record.
I'm not gonna lie. I would very much like to see a game 5 being played in Philadelphia.
Which one would you rather have? 5 in Philly or 5 in Milwaukee?
5 in Philly.
I was gonna say 5 in Toronto.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's the better question.
Yeah. I think 5 in
Toronto's just it does have a different feel to it because of the dome. Like, it sounds so much louder.
They're good fans. They're good baseball fans. They're very loud.
Canadians are psycho sports fans.
Yeah.
Speaking of hockey.
Yes. All right. Okay, Bubba. We'll catch you on Friday. Like, subscribe, spread the word, guys. Appreciate you showing up. And I'll catch you Friday, buddy.
And on the channel, you guys will also see I do a weekly podcast with Coach Joe Clark. He is a resident goaltending coach and expert, and he gives some fantastic advice that you guys can use at home or on open ice if you guys are ever at free skate. So feel free to give that a like and a watch.
I'm going to name drop real quick. He's been working with Connor Hellebuck since he was 18 years old. That's his guy. So yeah, he's probably one of the best goalie minds in the world, and it's a phenomenal podcast. So check it out.
And we had a fantastic guest, Kevin Woodley, who is a writer for In Goal. He's worked in the NHL, writing about the NHL for 20 plus years. So it was a really cool time to sit down and talk with him today. He's talked to guys like Carey Price all the way down to Grant Fuhrer and all the goalies all over. So
nice.
Thanks for listening, guys.
All right, take care, guys.